On today's episode of Diksha, we are going to take a look at yoga. So, in popular culture today, yoga has found its place in the mainstream media and in the focus worldwide. And even in the country of origin, yoga means or is symbolic of exercise. Now, the origin of yoga itself, you'll find different explanations, you'll find different philosophies on what the meaning of yoga is and what its purpose is. And to most of us, honestly, yoga is a form of exercise and it's a form of maintaining a somewhat balanced lifestyle. And by balance, we mean it's a way of de-stressing, it's a way of slowing down our hectic life, and it's a way of being active without having to do, much extreme activity and exercise. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to delve a little bit into what I believe to be the major philosophy behind yoga. And it kind of resonates along the lines of what the yoga masters of today's world say about yoga, that it's a way of attaching oneself to God, or it's a way of disciplining the mind and the body so that we can focus on spirituality. When the yogic masters or the spiritual teachers speak of yoga in this way, it makes it sound a bit religious. And I think that it's what kind of deters a lot of the mainstream yoga followers from taking the philosophical side of yoga seriously. Because it's not religious. In a way, it's a science. Arguably, it is a science. Because it comes from an understanding of the principles of how the universe works, how the energies within our universe works, and applying those principles to our life in trying to ground ourselves and in trying to further our conscious development. What all this simply means is that yoga's possibility for growth is limitless. It is rather the way we approach yoga, or our attention or our focus when we practice yoga, that limits us. And the way we can look at this, or the way we can take this into consideration, is like this: that there are parts of ourselves that we consciously develop along the course of our lives, and there are parts of ourselves that we seem to neglect along our life. And yoga is, if practiced extensively, is a way of developing all our abilities and all our facets. What I mean by this is very simple. First, we must understand what our full potential is, and then secondly, understand what exercises or what tools can be employed to develop ourselves in this way, and lastly, to understand now what this result means or what it should look like. And the reason I say this is because I've noticed that people use yoga and meditation as a way of withdrawing from the world. That people seem to have the perception that when one meditates, one withdraws from the world. And when one practices yoga, the point of yoga is to become numb to the world and to become numb to the issues that we face every day, which I would say is furthest from the truth. In fact, I would say that the opposite is what the purpose of yoga is. Yoga is a way of maximizing our experience of the world. And meditation is a way of maximizing our consciousness to experience the world. So, now that this has been stated, what do I mean? Now, if you delve a little bit into the yogic philosophy, you will come across where there is the 7 chakras, or the school of thought of the 7 chakras and what their functions are. So beginning at the base of the spine, going up through the spinal column, and the final chakra located at the top of the head, or the crown of the head. Each energy center or each chakra has, let's say, its full potential, its point of full opening or awakening. So we have the base chakra, which is, we become grounded. When that chakra is in balance, fully open, we become grounded. The sacral chakra is in charge of the sexual or dynamic or creative energy within us. The navel is in charge of, let's say, the expanded energy or dynamic energy channel from the sacral chakra becomes boosted at the navel. The heart chakra is mainly concerned with emotions and the, when in balance, that we are in sync with the emotional energies in our environment. The throat kind of channels this into our speech and in harmonizing, as the vocal cords, we know, create sound waves, so it's a harmonious instrument. So the throat chakra is, let's say, it tunes us to the environment. The brow, which is the third eye, it allows us to awaken in terms of our logic and perception to the workings of the universe. And the crown chakra allows us to connect. It then completes the connection to our environment, to the universe. So essentially, all these energy centers, when fully or properly balanced and open and cleansed, allow us to experience the universe and to connect with our environment completely. So it's not about withdrawing. It's not about, because I'm going into meditation, I have to detach myself from the world and the experiences and run away into myself and try to ignore what is around me. The purpose of yoga, which is the union, well, the word yoga means union or yoke, to join, means that I am bridging all of these energies to complete one single unit. And when this is done, I can experience life fully. So it's not about being calm. It's not about being detached in the way that people feel detachment means, that we have to neglect our feelings, we have to neglect our sexual urges, we have to neglect being attached, we have to neglect what we see or what we perceive or understand. Yoga is about finding a way to fully ground ourselves, finding a way to fully express our creative and our sexual energy, finding a way to fully channel energy into our emotions, and to fully harmonize ourselves with the world, and to fully understand what we perceive, and at the crown to become anchored in the energy of the universe or our environment. Not so much let's say universally, but the energy of nature, of life that flows every day from through the air and the sunlight, through the rivers of energy that is there, that we attach to it. That is yoga. So it's not about running away into ourselves. It's about realizing that we are part of the universe. We exist. We cannot exist outside of nature. So we cannot detach ourselves from nature. We have to attach ourselves to nature. The attachment and detachment that the yogis speak of is rather our attachment or our longing for things. And things can be relationships, material things, status, education, that we attach ourselves to the things that we have created, and rather than attach ourselves to the things that exist universally. That is the detachment that they speak of in yoga. Because I attach myself to the relationships I have with people rather than attach myself to the fullest expansion of what that relationship could be. I attach myself to the sexual encounters with people rather than channel sexual energy into creativeness. And there's a fine line that defines both of these, where we attach ourselves to the emotions we feel with one person rather than attach ourselves to emotion, which is two different things. We attach ourselves to ideas we come up with about the world rather than attach ourselves to the eternal nature of the world. And we attach ourselves to ideas about God rather than attach ourselves to the universal truth which we consider to be God. So there's a fine line to walk in between attaching ourselves to what is our fullest potential and what we have created or what we feel comfortable in. And that is yoga. Yoga is consciously trying to attach ourselves to our fullest potential as a human being. We as people can achieve whatever we set out to achieve. So if we understand this about yoga, if we understand that the purpose of yoga is to attach ourselves to our fullest human potential, and to understand what human potential is through the system of chakras that yoga explains, that I have 7 fundamental potentials that need to be fully developed. And that will allow me to attach myself to the system of the universe, to the way the universe works. It's not about running away from the stress of work and running away from the stress of relationships and the stress of studies. Meditation is not about trying to leave worries behind. It's about developing our fullest potential. That is yoga. So, this is my interpretation of what yoga means. This is my interpretation of what the full potential of yoga is. And I think if we develop an expanded view on what yoga can bring to us, we will achieve it simply by trying to achieve our fullest potential. Now, I'm not saying that anything is wrong if you feel relaxed by meditation, if you feel relaxed by yoga. That's all well and good. But realize that you are practicing something that is designed to unify the individual with the expanded universe. So, I will consider it a waste of time if we did not try to do that. So that's my presentation today on yoga and what yoga means. And I hope this would guide some or pique the interest of some to fully explore what yoga can bring to the individual who really wishes to become a yogi. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today on Diksha. My name is Omkar. I'll see you next time.